Thank you for joining us for the CCAA pre-tournament press conference. With us today, we have the number 3 seed on the women's side, Cal State LA. Representing the Golden Eagles, we have head coach Torino Johnson and Alyssa Fisher. Coach, I just want to talk to you a little bit about this run you guys have made. Talk about the way you guys have been playing, especially in the second half of the season. You guys made a nice little run to get yourself into that number 3 position.
Absolutely. It starts with our leadership. And so we have a senior captain, a graduate student, Alyssa Fisher, who's been here, 4 or 5 years now, having to battle through the pandemic. And you've seen the progression mainly from a slow start to us being able to find some level of cohesion, but it starts with her level of leadership and our ability to motivate her teammates intrinsically. Like it stems from her really wanting to win and wanting to be the type of leader that's needed in all assets of the game. So we wouldn't be in this position without her.
Fantastic. Alyssa, let me just talk to you a little bit about that one. We can look at your stats. We see you guys have a couple number of prolific scores. You guys rebound the ball really well. But what do you feel is one of your team's greatest strengths? Something that maybe I couldn't look in the box score and see, but you know, internally the people in that locker room know that this is one of your greatest strengths.
I would say competitiveness. I think that every time we step on the court, I think that our team is the most competitive that we can be. And I think that's, that shows up in some stats, but I think that when we step on the court, like we're competitive and we're confident. We're confident that no matter who we're going to play, we have a chance of beating them. So I think that's a big thing that, may not show up in the box score or anything like that. But I think that's what drives us to, win the games we needed to down the stretch and be in the position we are in right now.
Coach, talk to me a little bit about just the differences in a tournament setting versus the regular season. We know that this, you want to play 3 games in 3 days. You're hoping for that opportunity, but just tell me about how you prepare your team and what you need to do to have success at that tournament.
Well, you start, the concept is be there before you get there. And so you have to believe in the tenets and the style of play and the individual ability that then merges to be for the entire team. And so the greater good of the team. And so for us, it's really just focusing in on each and individually opportunity presented it. So our next opponent is practice. It isn't Thursday's game. There's too much time in between that. And so we still have to focus in on ourselves. We have to continue to get better. We understand what this entire tournament equals. It's a 1-game elimination. And so prior to getting into that, we want to visualize ourselves doing well, but we have to do it in practice. And so we still have, I think, 3 days left of prep. So that prep should be heavily tilted towards ourselves.
So I don't want to put you on a bad position to have to talk about anybody in particular, but let's still be honest to each other. When you have some prolific scorers out there like you guys have in Lily Bugs and Nicole Flanaugh, how does something like that really present a challenge to other teams in a tournament setting where if either one of those ladies were to get hot, and we know it's a team effort, but anybody like that could get hot, they can really help push somebody for a weekend series?
Yeah, I mean, I think having, 2 great scorers like Nicole and Lily are, one, presents challenges to the defense and defensive schemes that we're going to see. But I also think it opens up opportunities for everyone else on our team. We have a lot of great scorers. We have a lot of great playmakers. Having Lily and Nicole definitely makes a lot of our jobs easier. But I think that also leaves teams vulnerable to, people like Anai Washington and Yessie Smith, myself, and all those, and Jada Johnson. Like, I think it leaves teams vulnerable to, those people going off when they're so focused on Nicole and Lily, and that also helps us as a team. So
good answer. I know we have with us today Josh Peters from USA Today, and I want to turn it over to him for a couple questions. Unmute.
Sorry, I've only been Zooming for 2 years now. Congratulations, Coach and Alyssa, and it's nice to be here with you both. I'm curious to know what Meta's role is, particularly as they head into the postseason. Alyssa, can you start by explaining what his impact has been? And
yeah, Meta's been a great coach to us all year. I think he's adding a different level of that pro aspect that, not a lot of programs get. And I think that, having him on the sideline has benefited everyone on the bench from no matter what position you play. He's been a big impact in the style of play we have, our defensive schemes. So, we are very grateful that he's on our staff, and, without him, we wouldn't be in the position we are today.
nice.
So.
And Coach, what kind of role have you carved out for Meta? And I wondered if he's taken on any greater importance as you guys head into the postseason.
Absolutely. He's vital to everything that we do because we talk so much. And so being high strung, sometimes he's able to balance that and bring it back down. And he's been an incredible sounding board for our entire coaching staff. I know there's been times when we've been a little bit anxious, and he's just kind of like told us, like, it'll be all right. We got to calm down a little bit. And so he's such a cerebral person and a basketball savant that you have no choice but to heed some of the things that he's saying to you in the heat of the battle. And it just helps us. It creates a different level of poise and calm. And so in practice, we're able to find levels of resolve and resiliency just based on his career and then his work ethic and his basketball acumen. It's soothing, if you will, to have him on our coaching staff.
Nice. What about the winning streak? Is it something you talk about or something you set aside and just know that it's created confidence in the team? I just wondered
I think
how you use it.
One of the things that you do, whether you're losing or winning, you try not to acknowledge the obvious. You really show up, you work, you do the work because it's required, and you just fall in love with the work. And the reward is the streaks, right? And then you give the game your best regardless, even though you may come up short. And so even when we were 0-6, we kept battling every day. We were having really competitive and really good practices. We just couldn't find a way to find the win. And so once you start to win, it clicks. And so you want it a little more, right? And so in contrast, in the beginning, you want it, but you don't know what it feels like. You've been off 18, 19 months. And you're tiptoeing through drills and maybe even scrimmaging because you're afraid that someone's going to get injured. You have spent so much time in a Zoom. This is how we were practicing. We were conversing about the game, and you got to hit somebody. The tougher teams are always going to set the tone, and there were teams that we were playing against who had already been playing and hadn't had to sit out a season. And so we were coming up short to those types of opponents, D1 opponents included, and then several that you'll see in the NC2A tournament, which is what our tournament is indicative of. There's a NC2A bid on the line, right? And so you want to focus in on now, but that's part of the streak. But you don't acknowledge it. You just say, hey, we got to focus on ourselves right now.
Thank you.
And thank you, Coach Johnson. Thank you, Alyssa. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us for this pre-tournament press conference. Actually, just to give the heads up, Cal State LA will actually be the first game in the CCA tournament coming up this Thursday at noon. They will face Sonoma State, the team they played in the season finale. So always the way it seems to work out for some of those teams, back to back. But Coach, Alyssa, we just really appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you in Arcata. Thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.